Hello, everyone, and welcome to this segment of our Faculty Spotlight. Today, we're joined by Dr. Carmine Dibiase, Distinguished Professor of English at Jacksonville State University. He is involved in drama, in English, in music, and several other different projects around the community and around our campus. Dr. Dibiase, welcome to our Faculty Spotlight.
Thank you, Rodney. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now, if you would just kind of give us a little bit of information on everything that you're involved in right now, because there's a lot. I mean, you are, every time we see something dealing with music or the orchestra or drama, we see your name there. So just give us a little bit of information on, well, first of all, I guess, how you got involved in all these different facets of the university.
Well, I've been playing violin since I was a kid. I dropped the instrument. I quit for many years. Then I met my wife Susan, who plays cello, and I had been carrying my violin with me for years and years. And I thought, well, it's time to pick it back up because now I've got somebody to play duets with, and at about the same time, we moved to Jacksonville, and I took this job here. And I met an amazing violin teacher who had just retired from JSU, John Maltese, and he taught violin here and music for 10 years. He was an amazing violinist. He died recently in his mid-90s, and he and I became fast friends. I took a bunch of lessons from him, but more than anything, I visited with him, and he was a great inspiration to me. And he played in the JSU orchestra after he retired. So Susan and I have been playing with the JSU orchestra since its beginning, since its new beginning in 1993. And I'm really sad this semester because although we've got a terrific conductor in Jeremy Benson, and although they're having rehearsals, I have to be very careful because Susan has asthma and I can't be bringing COVID back into the house. So I'm taking no unnecessary risks. And this means that I'm not playing in the Gadsden Symphony either. That's an orchestra I've been playing with for about as long, and it only has 3 concerts a year and far fewer rehearsals. It's a pickup orchestra. We only have 1 rehearsal and then the concert. So I've toyed with the idea of, playing the next concert, but I don't think so. Not yet. I just hope that this virus, passes, and we can get back to playing music together. So unfortunately, now I'm just playing. I'm practicing on my own in my basement, and doing duets with Susan, and with the Shakespeare project. We've been collaborating with the theater department. Last year, the Shakespeare project is 2 years old. We're on our 3rd year. It was begun by Emily Duncan, and it began through the Chamber of Commerce, the Calhoun County Chamber of Commerce, where she was working. And she and Carrie Colton, who was teaching theater here at JSU, decided to offer professional level performances of Shakespeare plays to local high schools, mainly underserved high schools, and give them 8 performances for free, with full costuming and lighting, and with, again, professional actors mixed with local or even distant apprentice actors. And not only the actors, but also the set designers, the sound technicians, the costume designers. The heading up each division would be a professional, but also a selection of what we're calling apprentices, and everybody gets paid for doing that work through grant money. Took about $30,000 to put on the first series of 8 performances of Julius Caesar, and about the same amount to put on last year's 8 performances of Macbeth. And now we're in this crucial third year. It's crucial because in order to get federal funding, you really need to have 3 successful seasons behind you. Like the NEA won't look at your application unless you've had that 3rd successful year behind you. So we're trying to do, a series of performances that will be safe. And so our plan as of now, I just had a meeting with Emily yesterday, is to do the performances in outdoor theaters, maybe even football stadiums, and to make it travel from one school to another locally. And the actors won't arrive until after they've been learning their lines at home for several weeks, and they will arrive with a period of quarantining behind them, so that when we put them with host families, and we actually have host families lined up already, almost all of them anyway, they will be, we can guarantee that they'll be safe. So that's our plan as of now. And the play in question this time, the play to be performed this time, is going to be A Midsummer Night's Dream. If the virus gets worse, then what we'll do is something virtual. But that's going to be a last resort. And of course, we're not going to do anything unsafe. But that's been a huge satisfaction for me. When I was brought on board by Carrie and Colton and Emily Duncan to serve as what they call a dramaturg, which is not a director, but a kind of consultant. So I go to all the rehearsals and listen to pronunciation, and I take notes on mispronunciations, notes on basically on language, and I'm on hand to answer questions about the meanings of passages. Sometimes historical background is important to the actors, because otherwise they can't understand what they're saying or what they're doing or how they should move on stage. Before the Shakespeare project, I served as dramaturg for Dr. Boynton's production of The Tempest. And one actor who was playing Stefano, the butler, asked me a question that sent me down a very deep rabbit hole. And it was very simple. He asked me, what exactly did a Renaissance butler do? I need to know, because it's going to help me do this role. It's a comic role, but he needed to know. And I thought, my goodness, that's a very old word, butler. And it's a very old role. Give me a day and I'll get back to you.